Okay, so we're going to go over some examples for you for 10.2. Before we do, I need you to make sure that you have downloaded this, which is the Parabola cheat sheet. So if you have not yet done so, make sure you have downloaded the Parabola cheat sheet, okay? So again, it looks like this, the Parabola cheat sheet, so make sure that you have this. I'm not sure if that showed up in the last video. Okay, so we're going to use this. This gives you all the equations that we're going to need for the parabola. Notice I've given you up, down, left, and right, and whether or not the vertex is at the origin or whether or not the vertex is at h comma k. We're going to be using these in these next examples. Okay, this is the next part of the lesson. So let's get to it. So we're going to come up with problems like this. So what is the equation of the parabola with the vertex at the origin and the focus is at 0, 2? So let me move up a little bit here. So here's how I suggest that you do all of these problems. Okay, and I'll do this in blue for you. The first thing that I think you should do is you should draw a graph to help you figure out where things are. So you should be taking notes right now, kind of on graph paper or regular paper if you have it. Okay, so the vertex is at the origin, so that means that my vertex is here, and I'll label it right there. And the focus is at 0, 2, so that means that the focus is at this point right here. So this distance right here is labeled as A. It's the distance from the vertex to the focus. And we also know that if we go back to A, or sorry, if we go back A, so negative A down here, we have this line right down here, which of course represents the directrix. Okay, so right away, I know that if this is the vertex and the focus is above it, then my parabola has to open up. All right, it has to open up, and my vertex is at the origin, so I'm going to write down the equation x squared equals 4ay. So I'm going to write that down over here for you right now. So we're going to begin by saying, okay, x squared must equal 4ay. Now, I know that a is a distance of 2 units, so I'm going to write this in. So x squared has to be 4 times 2 times y, so therefore x squared must be equal to 8y. And this would be the equation of the parabola with the vertex at the origin and focus at 0, 2. Now to finish everything off here, the directrix is the equation of the line. This would be the line y is equal to negative 2, and we would want to write that down. Our vertex is at 0, 0. Our focus is at 0, 2, and we can also include lattice points. Now a lattice point, remember, is if my focus is 2 units away from the vertex, then I go 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the left, and 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right, and this point is guaranteed to be actually on the vertex itself. So those 2 points are my lattice points, and the book does not teach that, so I want to make sure that you guys understand that. So here's my equation. Here's everything I need to know. It's a units away from the vertex. It's negative a units back. So this entire distance from here to here would be 4 units, which of course is the exact same distance as it is from here to there. Okay, move on to example number 2 when you're ready. Okay, here's example number 2. It says, what are the focus and the directrix of the parabola y equals negative 1/12 x squared? Well, if I compare this to the form of my vertex for up, down, left, and right, you'll notice that it's not quite in the right form because I want to get x squared or y squared by itself. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 12. And I would have this. Negative 12y is now equal to x squared. Or similarly, x squared is equal to negative 12y. Okay, now if I go back to this and I look, x squared equals negative 12y. So that looks kind of like this form here. So I know that this thing is opening down. So x squared equals negative 4ay. So if we go back to this, here's what we have. If we write down x squared equals negative 4ay, then look what I have. I know that negative 12 is equivalent to negative 4a. So let me write that down. Negative 12 is equivalent to negative 4a. Well, if I just simply divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4, I get a as a value of 3 in this case. But since I know that this thing opens down, okay, so that means that my vertex is at 0, 0, and my focus is at the point 0, negative 3. My focus has to be at the point 0, negative 3 because this thing opens down. Alright? So if my focus is at 0, negative 3, then my directrix has to be at the line y equals 3. And let me show you all this stuff on fluid math, okay? So here's the original equation, okay? So we'll put that over here. So there it is. My graph is opening down. My parabola opens down. the vertex, or let's do the focus. The focus was at 0, -3, which is right here. Notice that it is 3 units down from where the vertex was. So that means the directrix has to be 3 units back, and it's going to be a horizontal line, and the line is going to be y equals 3. So watch, when I put that on there, there it is, y equals 3. And of course the vertex is at the center of all of this. So here is my directrix up here. Here's my vertex. Here's my focus. This distance is -a units away from this distance. This was a units away, and this was 3, and this was 3. So the grand total of all of this would be 6 units. And then let's explore lattice points really quickly, right? So if I know that this distance is 3 units away from the vertex to focus, then I can go out 6 units. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is. That's a lattice point. And then if I go 6 the other way, which over here, that would be another lattice point. So we can also put those points on the graph. Okay, let's move on to example 3. Okay, let's do example 3. What's the equation of the parabola with the vertex at the origin and the directrix at x equals 1.25? So again, here's what I suggest that you do. First thing is draw a graph and put some information on the graph that you know. Okay, x equals 1.25. Well, if this is 1, this is 2, and 3 and 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, then x equals 1.25 would be this line right here. Okay? So there's the equation, x equals 1.25, and that's my directrix. So I'll put a big D there to remember that's the directrix. It says the vertex is at the origin, so I can go ahead and put vertex here. So that means that the focus, okay, has to be, this is -1, this is -2, this is -3. That means that the focus has to be the same distance away as that, the other direction. So that means that my focus has to be at this point. So the focus for that point would have to be -1.25, 0. Okay? And so my parabola then is opening to the left because my focus is to the left of the vertex. So let's go and check this out, my cheat sheet here. Okay? Opening to the left. So I'm going to have y squared equals -4ax. I'm going to go ahead and write that down over here. Alright? In orange, I'm going to say y squared equals -4ax. That's the right equation that I'm going to use. And a is a value of 1.25. So I have this, y squared is equal to -4. Well, 1.25 is 5/4, and then x. So I would have this, y squared equals -5x, and that would be the equation for the parabola, the vertex at the origin and directrix at 1.25 because it's opening to the left. And notice that y squared equals -4ax, so I'll have a negative in my answer because it's opening to the left. Let's do example number 4. Okay, in this one, what are the vertex and the focus and directrix for the parabola x equals 0.75 y squared? Well, it doesn't quite fit the form yet, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this and it's saying, well, x is equal to 3/4 of y squared. And remember, all of my cheat sheet formulas are in the form of x squared or y squared. So in this case, I know that y is being squared, so I'm going to get it by itself. So that means that y squared is now equal to 4/3 of x. Okay? So good. Now once I have it in this form, I can go ahead and write down the form that I know that's equivalent to it. So y squared equals positive, so I'm going to say y squared equals 4ax. So this parabola must open to the right. Okay? So let's go back to here and write down y squared equals 4ax. And now do a little comparison here, okay? 4/3 is the same thing as 4a. So how are we going to get the value of a? We're going to set these two equal to each other. So 4/3 is now equal to 4a. Okay, so far so good. So here's what I have next, right? This tells me, I'll move this over here. This tells me that 4 is now equal to 12a. When you multiply both sides by 3, I'm going to then divide by 12, divide by 12. So that means that a is equal to 4 divided by 12 is 1/3. And so a is equal to 1/3. So what does that mean for myself, okay? So since I know that this, let's go ahead and make a little sketch here so how do we can answer all these questions, all right? So here's my little sketch, and if it's y squared, so according to this, right, y squared, it's either going to be left or right, and this is going to be right because my a is positive here, okay? So going back over here, A is 1/3. So this thing starts at the vertex. I go 1/3 over, 1/3 comma 0. And then I'm going to go back, negative 1/3 comma 0. So this is going to be my directrix, and this is going to be my focus. So to answer the question, the focus will be at the point 1/3 comma 0. The directrix will be the line x equals negative 1/3. So there we go. I found the vertex, the focus, and the directrix for each of those points right there. Okay, the last final example is probably the most challenging example, so just try and follow along as best you can. What are the vertex, focus, and directrix of this parabola? So I have y equals x squared minus 4x plus 8. Notice that this is in standard form, and we need to put this into a form that we can understand in terms of how we can use it. So notice that over here the vertex is going to be at some point h comma k. The reason I know this is this is the case is because my vertex has been moved somewhere. It's no longer at 0, 0. It's more complicated. So it's going to be at h comma k. So it's going to be one of these. And if you look at this, we know that x is being squared, right? So then it must be the case that this is either an up or a down parabola because the x is being squared here, not the y. The x is being squared. So we want one of these two forms of the equation. How do we get it their way? We're just going to simply complete the square. So watch what we have. So y is equal to x squared minus 4x. Alright? And I'm going to say plus the magic number, something that we're going to add here. And then I'm going to say plus 8. I'm still working on one side of the equal sign, minus that magic number. Okay, so what makes this work? So let's see here. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2 squared, be 4, and then 4 over here, so we end up with this. Y is now equal to the quantity x minus 2 squared, and 8 minus 4 is a positive 4. Now if I get into the right form, here's what I would have. I would say y minus 4 is now equal to x minus 2 quantity squared. Alright, it's looking pretty good. So I have something minus something squared, and x equals y minus 4. If I compare that to which one I have here, this looks like this parabola is going to have to open up because I'm going to have x squared, or x minus h squared equals 4a times y minus k. So to write down the equation that this is related to, I'd have this. X minus h squared equals 4a times y minus k. So comparing this, right, I'll rewrite it in that form so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. So if I do x minus 2 squared is equal to the quantity y minus 4. So you'll notice, right, when you compare these two, 4a has to be a value of 1. See that? 4a has to be a value of 1. So here's what I would do. I'd set 4a equal to 1, so that means that a is equal to 1/4. Okay, let's put all this information onto a graph now and understand what it is that we're doing. So from here, we can get the vertex is located at the point h comma k, so that's going to be 2 comma 4. So I get 2 comma 4 from this, h comma k. So that's where our vertex is. So let's go ahead and put that information onto the graph, alright? So do your best to draw a graph in this form. I think it really helps. So the vertex is at 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So far, so good. Vertex is at 2, 4. Now, I know that since x is being squared, according to my cheat sheet here, since x is being squared and a is positive, that this parabola has to open up. Okay? That's very, very important to know that it has to open up. So if it opens up, then that means that here, let me actually write vertex over here, because it's going to be better for you. So if it opens up, then where does my vertex go? Well, it goes exactly 1/4 of the way up from the vertex. Okay, so it goes right here. So that is my focus. And that would be at the point, think about it, I went over 2, comma 4 plus 1/4. You see that? Because I went over 2 units, that's the 2, and then I went up to 4, and then I added on to that the a, which is a distance of 1/4. So to clean this up, the focus would be at 2 comma 4.25. Oh, okay, that makes sense, no problem there. Okay, then let's get the directrix. Okay, since we now know that the directrix, this is the distance of a, so if I go a in the opposite direction, the directrix would have to be 4 minus 1/4, or 3.75. So if I go up to 1, 2, 3.75, I'd be here. This would be my directrix. and that would be it'd be y is equal to 3.75. So then my parabola will be doing something like this, okay? So we answered the question by saying, where's the vertex? Okay, the vertex again was at 2, 4. Where's the focus? The focus is at 2.4.25, and the directrix is the line y equals 3.75. That's the hardest problem that you can probably do. So if you get all of that, you're all good to go. All right, thanks for watching.